we're going to be demonstrating fills on a 1 ounce and 8 ounce personal care products. The first product we're going to demonstrate is a moisturizing shampoo. We have on the machine, we have a 1-inch cylinder set with about a 2.5-inch stroke. After we run each of the products, we're going to do a machine disassembly and tear down for cleanup to give you an idea of how it actually works. As we run it, I'll also show you the speed controls for dispensing and recharging. The first thing that we'll do is we'll run all the products on the 1 ounce bottles, and then we will run all the products on the 8 ounce bottles. Here's the first fill test. We have a straight down nozzle. The product holds up in there quite nicely. You notice, depending on the product, sometimes I'll wipe right at the tip just to make sure I take off any string or drip. Now I'm going to use the gallon jug of moisturizing shampoo, and I'm just going to shoot some shots into it to show you how the stream looks coming out. A little bit of a tail there that snaps off. That's why if you're trying to make a little speed that I will wipe it across. Now I'm going to increase the machine dispense speed, give you an idea how fast it will fill. Now I'm going to decrease it. What I did to make it run continuously like that is I have a foot pedal that I depressed, and if you hold it down it will continually run an automatic. To the rear of the machine here we have a regulator. Tells you what your air pressure is. You want to run this between 60 and 70 psi. We also have an air drop for dropping the air pressure to the machine. This should be done, or must be done, every time you go to change your volume. Do the vitamin E gel. The vitamin E gel is very viscous. It flows quite nicely, but it has a mounding tendency. So we put a long nozzle on here for bottom-up filling. For doing the 1 ounce containers, this nozzle is probably overkill, but in my test lab it's the only one I had at the time. A shorter one can be used to do this, and I know when we fill the 8 ounce bottles, we probably also need a long nozzle, which we'll demonstrate. Slide the nozzle up and on, and as it fills, the operator drops it away. Your air entrapment is very minimal at this point. Hold the bottle on, hit the foot pedal. Probably overfilling a little bit. I'm going to reduce the volume because we get just a little blurp out at the end. As you can see, I'm filling right up into the neck. We would like to reduce that volume down a little bit. Okay, the volume I've changed now. See how the fill looks. There we go. A little bit better fill. Not quite all the way up to the top of the neck. I can reduce it even more. We'll do a couple more fills to give you an idea how it looks. By keeping the tip just at the surface of the level of the product, you eliminate most of your air entrapment problems. You'll get a few little bubbles in there. Next, we're going to the extreme body moisture. I'll empty the machine out and put the body moisture in, and we'll do the 1 ounce fills with that. Now we're going to do the 1 ounce fills of extreme body moisturizer. Got the machine set up again with the long nozzle for bottom up fill. The product doesn't top fill real nice. It wants to mount and it'll come out of the bottle. Again, you raise the nozzle onto the bottle, hit the foot pedal, and you drop the nozzle away. The operator needs to make sure he moves the bottle fast enough, because if the nozzle is in the bottle too long, you get the little blob on the nozzle like I've just shown. There we go. Real nice fill. Eliminate your aeration. Now what we'll do is we'll change over and we'll go to the 8 ounce bottles. We're going to put a 2-inch cylinder on. We'll show you how that's done here shortly, and do the 8 ounce fills for you. Next, we're going to disassemble the machine and put the 2-inch cylinder on. I have left the thick cream in the hopper because it won't flow out. I can take it off that way. First thing I'm going to do is take the nozzle off. That from the side. Now I'm going to turn the machine and disassemble it from the rear to show you how it's done. Okay, first thing you're going to want to do is drop the air to your machine. Next, we're going to remove the hopper from the machine. Now, we'll actually take the cylinder right off the machine. First you want to loosen up your ratchet handles. You have a front and rear cradle here, or front, middle, and rear cradle. Those are off. The next thing we do, I'm going to show you, is we have to disconnect the valve lever. Okay? There's a pin, an R pin or R clip that we pull out there, so that when we lift the filling assembly off the machine, it won't be attached there. So now, you can actually lift the whole filling assembly off the machine. You take the donuts that were around the 1-inch cylinder off, and now I can put my 2-inch cylinder and piston assembly in here and take the 1-inch over to be cleaned. Now I've got the 1-inch assembly removed. What I'm going to do is actually take this 1-inch piston and valve assembly apart for you and show you how easily it comes apart. First thing you can do is we're going to take the tri-clamp off that holds the valve assembly and the piston assembly together. Then we'll pull the piston out of the cylinder. And all these components then can be taken to the sink for cleanup. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the valve spool out of the valve housing. This is the only place that a small tool would be required, a small screwdriver or nut pick, unless your operators have good fingernails. That is to remove the O-ring on the far side of the valve spool, and then you push the valve spool back through to remove it. Now all these components can go to the sink to be cleaned up. Next we're going to assemble the 2-inch piston assembly on the machine. I've cleaned the valve spool and the valve housing, and now we're going to reassemble all that. The one thing that you should do whenever you reassemble a machine after cleaning is use a little lubricant. We use it's a food grade grease. Some people will use Vaseline. Some people, depending on the products they're running, can actually use their own product. Maybe the moisturizing product would work. But you have to use some kind of lubricant on the seals. Next we're going to assemble the valve. Again, put a little lubricant, and it should be in a grease format, not in an oil format. The valve, with the side that the lever is on, goes into the valve housing with the side that the lockdown lever is on. Slide it in. Push it through so that the O-ring groove on the other side of the valve is exposed. Now, put your O-ring back in place and put a little lubricant on that O-ring. Next, you're going to want to push the valve back through so that both O-rings are entrapped in the valve. And we have the valve completely assembled. Your lockdown lever goes in place. Now what we need to do is mount the valve to the cylinder. That's done with a tri-clover clamp. Again, quite simple. Really no tools are required. Now we will put the pin that holds the valve actuation device in place on. I'll tighten the cradle up. We will put the front cradle on. Put the rear cradle on. Again, these little ratcheting type handles do make it quite easy to disassemble and take apart. Now, the one thing you want to remember when you're using these, you don't have to torque them down. They just have to be screwed down, finger tight. Next, we'll put the hopper on, and then we'll be all set to go. We're running the 8-ounce with the extreme bottom moisturizing. Clamp's good and tight. Now we'll turn the machine again, face it forward, and we'll put the long nozzle on to allow us to bottom up fill. Next we're going to put the long nozzle back on so we can bottom up fill the 8-ounce container. Now we're going to run the 8-ounce body lift bottles with the moisturizer. Try and turn it to the side there so you can see how it fills. Real nice filled. Again, if you tried to top fill this, it would mound on you. Nozzle placement isn't as critical in this one as it was in the 1-incher. You can, yep, we're just about, yep, we're out of product. Okay, now we're going to clean the machine up, and then we will go to the vitamin E gel. Now I've got the machine full of vitamin E gel, and we're going to bottom up fill that into the 8-ounce tubes. Again, they need to drop it away fast enough. See if I get a little better at it here. Leaves a very nice fill. Now the one thing we've noticed with the gel and the moisturizing lotion is we have a tendency to cavitate, which means is it sucks a hole down through the center and doesn't, and you still have product on the sides. Two ways to alleviate that. As the operator gets down in the hopper, they can just take a spatula and scrape it back to the center, or you can go with a cylindrical hopper and a follower plate, which we will show you more towards the end of the video. The cylindrical hopper and a follower plate, the follower plate pushes down on the product as the product drops, keeping the level of the product even across the hopper. Next we're going to go and run the shampoo, the moisturizing shampoo. Now we have the moisturizing shampoo in the filler. We're going to do some 8-ounce fills with that. And we're doing it with the short nozzle now. Well, as we ran the 8-ounce fills with the moisturizing shampoo, we ran into some drip problems. The shampoo would not hold up into the 9/16 nozzle for filling the 8-ounce like it did when we filled the, we used the 7/16 nozzle when we filled the small 1-ouncers. So we put our positive cutoff nozzle on here, showed you how it would eliminate the dripping and the stringing. And I'm going to fill a couple of 8-ounce bottles. Try and top fill it to give you an idea how it looks. Goes right up in the neck, bottom of the neck of the container, and there's a plunger that comes down inside the nozzle. As you can see, I can't get my finger up in there. It's cuts it right off, and there's an O-ring seal on it in the tip. For thin products, I would recommend that type of nozzle be used to eliminate any dripping or stringing of your product. Next, what we will do is we will put the cylindrical hopper with the follower plate on, and then I'll just tip it up to show you how it actually works, and then I'll also go over how you adjust your volume and setting the gauge line. A 5-gallon cylindrical hopper, and it can be a accompanied by a follower plate. This follower plate is put on top of the product, and as the product is drawn into the cylinder, the plate rides right along the walls, keeping the level of the product in the hopper even. Otherwise, with some of your thick products, like the gel and the moisturizing lotion, it has a tendency where it wants to stick to the sides and suck a hole down the center. You don't need the hopper as long as your operator is willing to get up and scrape the hopper down every now and then to keep the product from sticking to the sides. But I'll show you how it mounts up. The original hopper off. You can see there is a slight dome in the bottom. Also attaches on with a tricover like our other hopper. And you can run thin products in this type of hopper also. And now the follower plate would set right down on top and ride right down. Let me show you what it looks like. And the follower plate would sit in here, and as the product drew down into the cylinder, the follower plate would ride down in there like that until you got to the bottom. Pull it back out, fill your hopper back up.